So, we said in the previous class that we have made cottage cheese because very easy to prepare it, right. You do not have to make get rennet, you do not have to do ripening, all these. So, very easy, and in many of the houses this cottage cheese nowadays they are producing, right. And it is almost similar to making paneer or things like that. So, it is not very difficult. But the other one which we now will deal with is the cheddar one. In our this 52nd class, we will deal with the cheddar cheese, and this is definitely a little more tough than preparing cottage cheese, right. And let us look into how cheddar cheese is being made. And cheddar is a typical term where you will see that piling, repiling, all these are there, right. So, you have a heap of this and they are made upside down. So, made a pile and then again upside down. So, like that, this is basically to drain the moisture, right. So, that is followed in this cheddar cheese preparation. So, let us look into the cheddar cheese, which is close texture bacterial ripened cheese, and in this process cheddar is hard close texture bacterial ripened cheese made from cow's milk. Raw or pasteurized milk may be used. Cheddaring is the name given to step in making cheese, which includes packaging, turning, piling, repiling the curd, right. So, the method used, let us go quickly because we will have not very high time, much time. So, hopefully in this class we should cover the cheddar cheese and rest of the part of the cheese. So, we will proceed a little quicker than earlier, unless there is a requirement for explicit explanation. We will proceed because this is manufacturing process, right. So, understanding is less, but the procedure is more. So, that will follow very quickly. So, if we look at that, the method is pasteurized high quality standard milk, where casein fat ratio is adjusted to 0.7 plus minus 0.01%, right. So, or not percent, it is ratio, casein to fat ratio is 0.7 plus minus 0.1 or 0.01. Milk is taken in the cheese vat and temperature is carefully adjusted to 30 degrees centigrade. Then inoculate. I hope inoculation we have said earlier also. Inoculation means, suppose we have, this is a making process, right, and we have to inoculate. Say in a pipette you take it and then add it to that. This is from the source, right, from the starter culture, where you have taken say your definite quantity, maybe 1 ml, 10 ml, that depends on the quantity you have already measured, and then you transfer it to that. This is called inoculation, right. So, this inoculate with fine active lactic starter at the rate of 0.5 to 1, 0.5 to 1%, usually 0.7% after straining and stir thoroughly. Test for acidity, and that should not be 0.005 to 0.01%, more than that, right. Originally 0.25% to 0.4% rennet is added, diluted to 20 times of its volume with cold water, and it makes possible to distribute the rennet thoroughly and uniformly, because you are diluting. That is why the rennet which you are adding, that is uniformly going to all over the milk, so that your localized fermentation is not there, right. You are making culture. So, that should be, that is why stirring is also required, that uniformity of the distribution of the organisms are to be there, so that the acid which is produced are also more or less same all over, right. Now, milk is stirred thoroughly for 3 to 5 minutes after rennet is added, and agitators are taken out, leaving a cover on the vat to keep the surface warm, and clean curd is set. Now, after that, curd is ready to cut after 25 to 30 minutes of addition of the rennet. It will give a clean split when the thermometer or any such thing is inserted at 45-degree angle and then lifted straight out. I don't know whether you have seen at home that your seniors, they are making cake and other things, right. So, it is a baked product. So, when cake is being made, so that cake from outside you will not be, say this one, outside you will not be able to see whether the interior moisture is also dried or not. So, for that, what do? They also put a stick and put it inside and see whether moisture is adhering to that or not. In the same similar way, here also you are testing that moisture, right. So, that 45-degree angle and then lifted straight out, right. Then when the when whey immediately after cutting contains around 0 to 0.5 to 0.08, 0.05 to 0.08% less titratable acidity than the milk at the time of renneting. This is because the curd contains practically all the casein and a portion of the phosphates. Free whey quickly appears between the cut cubes of curd, and the curd tends to sink slowly. Agitation starts but should not be vigorous such that curd is broken. Then matting should also be avoided, right. Then we come to that heating or cooking begins within 15 minutes after the cutting. Enough free whey should be there in the vat to float the curd. It helps to keep curd away from direct contact with the vat, and cooking should be started slowly so that 38.8 degrees centigrade will reach within 30 minutes. The time temperature combination is like this, that 0th time, if the temperature is 31 degrees centigrade, after 5 minutes it should be 31.6 degrees centigrade, after 10 minutes it should be 32.6 degrees centigrade, after 15 minutes it should be 33.8 degrees centigrade, 20 minutes 35.5, 25 minutes 37.2, and 30 minutes 38.8. So, this way the temperature is increased very slowly over a period of 30 minutes, right. So, that is why I said in the beginning that making cottage cheese is much easier. So, but cheddar cheese, another process where both ripening are also there. That is why I thought let it also be told to you, right. Then after turning off steam, continue stirring slowly for a total period of 45 minutes. At this time, the curd will begin to feel short will begin to feel shotty firm and somewhat elastic when squeezed. Card particles will be only about half as large as they were at cutting. Acidity will be approaching the desired limit of 0.1 to 2.13%. No soft centers of card particles are there, right. Stirring is stopped, card is allowed to settle to the bottom of the vat, insert the strainer and start to draw the whey. So, by strainer you have seen that people are using things like some net where the fishing is being done. Similar way that through that the strainer this curd is lifted or separated. Cover the vat to keep the curd warm and clean, and cheddering, that is packing, turning, piling and repiling is there, and it lasts for around 2 hours, right. Then your cheddering is done. There are two objectives to do that cheddering. One is to control the moisture and another is to form the characteristics body and texture. Now, these four things which are primary for the cheddering or cheddar cheese, that should be: one is packaging, that is packaging interval between dipping and packing is not less than 5 minutes and not longer than 15 minutes. Within 5 to 15 minutes has to be done. Thickness of the card slab reduces by 1 or 2 inches. Cut the blocks in 6-inch thick or 6 and 8-inch wide and 20 each long, right. So, you have a block where it is 6-inch in thickness, right, 6-inch in thickness. So, this is the 6-inch and 6 to 8-inch wide. So, that is 6 to 8-inch wide. The other one is this is 6 to 8-inch wide and long maybe 20 inch. So, we have made a little bigger, right. So, roll bottom side up in the vat, then turning. So, turn at intervals of 15 minutes and repeat at every 15-minute interval till the curd is ready for milling and salting. Keep vat covered to maintain temperature after every turning and to prevent airborne contamination. For best result, curd is kept above 32.2 degrees centigrade. Then your piling and repiling comes. So, piling is done, piling the block too high in 30 to 45 minutes after packing. The blocks are turned piled too high. Temperatures is 2 to 3 degrees less than at the time of dipping. At this time, the blocks are about 24 inch long and 3 to 4 inch thick. They can be cut to 12 inch long to handle them with ease. The blocks are turned after the usual 15-minute interval and piled too high. Blocks from the top layer are placed in the bottom layer. Piling the blocks 3 high at 30 to 45 minutes after piling too high, blocks are turned again and piled in 3 layers. This is for control of moisture and very close texture if desired. Occasionally, more than 3 layers are also being made, right. Then end of the cheddering, how you will come to know that it lasts for approximately 2 hours. Time period is extended if lower moisture and very close texture is desired. So, the lower the moisture, the texture will be very close. The higher the moisture, texture will be a little open, right. So, more compactness will be there if the moisture content is low. That is why if you need more, then maybe some more time you have to add. Whey draining from the card should have 0.3 to 0.35% more acid than at the time of cutting, around 1%. pH about 5.4. Body is plastic, smooth to the touch and can be torn apart in thin meaty shreds or strips. The temperature is approximately 32 degrees centigrade. Then it is milled. So, milling the card is around with 5/8 inch square and 2-inch long, milled using a mill. Stir it enough to prevent matting, rather stir it enough to prevent it matting, and then salting the card. The desired salt content is approximately around 1.5%, but may not range between, or should not be more than 2%. Maybe it is ranging between 1 to 2%. Then this salt is added in 3 to 4 parts uniformly over the card, and each time the card is let to drain for 10 minutes, so that salt is dissolved and card is smooth, feeling, firm and elastic. Then hooping. Hooping is another one which I give example, that you might have seen at home. Your seniors, they are making some something like embroidery or things like that. So, they are making a frame, right, and in that frame there are two, maybe if it is circular one, but it is maybe square or rectangular, depending on what type of things are being done. But there, if you say if it is rectangular, if it is circular, then there are two, and then on the top there is some thread and nut things are there to tighten and other things, and the cloth is placed between the two, right. So, hooping is such a thing, right. You have one such container, right, and in that another container, say like this. So, this is the open space, right, and your strainer or the cloth is put in between, so that your material, that is the card, can be put in that. So, that is what hooping. So, hooping, pressing and dressing are done. The temperature of the card is between 30.5 to 31.5 degrees centigrade. Press as soon as the hoops are filled. Press hard enough at first to start the whey dripping from each hoop. Increase the pressure gradually until full pressure is applied in 15 minutes after starting. The card is ready to dress not sooner than 15 minutes after full pressure has been applied. Then removing the cheese from the hoop is like that. Removing the cheese from the hoop is that next morning take the cheese from the hoops, weighed, marked with date, lot number, etc. The cheese is removed from the making room to the drying room, where it is neatly arranged on clean shelves or tables. Temperature is maintained around 12.7 to 15.5 degrees centigrade with relative humidity of around 50%. That means, you see that the relative humidity is made low, such that moisture from outside cannot come in, right. So, moisture from outside cannot come in, and that is the primary for the from the hooping when you are packing it, so that moisture the moment moisture is adhered to or if it is absorbed, then the closeness of the cheese will be hampered, right. So, humidity is around 50%. The cheese is turned at 24-hour interval, so that both ends and sides can dry to form rather desired rind. Each time during turning, wipe off the surface of the shapes with a clean dry cloth. Cheese will show proper rind development in 3 to 4 days. Then paraffining. Again, this is of course nowadays in many cases paraffins are not used, but I do not know, you can ask your parents if they are sufficiently old. Then in earlier days when this jam jelly marmalade, they were also available in the market, then the people used to put one layer of paraffin on the top, right. The primary reason is that it should not allow the moisture to go out, number one, and the cap which you are putting, when if some moisture is evaporated and put some droplets over there, should not fall into that, so that contamination can take place. So, here also this paraffining is primarily done to allow to keep the moisture inside the cheese intact, right. So, paraffining is done cheese for a few seconds, that is 3 to 5 minutes into a batch of melted paraffin, right. Temperature is around 115 to 121 degrees centigrade, or a mixture of paraffin and wax to get a thin and somewhat flexible coating. So, this coating helps the moisture to remain inside. That is the primary objective, that moisture should not go out, right. Then curing. These are some associated things which we are now covering, right, because this is not only in the case of Cheddar cheese, but also in all other cheese, these words or these typical operations are also done. Curing, then your green cheese, what is that? The name green appears that it is green in color, may is not so. So, like that. So, these are associated, which we said that we should cover in this, and I do not know how many, still we have around 5 minutes time. Within this we should finish cheese, otherwise we will be in trouble with time, right. So, curing definition is like this, that the curing or ripening or souring or maturing of cheese refers to the storage of cheese for at least 2 to 3 months at a given low temperature of 0 to 16 degrees centigrade, during which physical, chemical, bacteriological properties are profoundly changed, resulting in the development of characteristic flavor, body and texture, right. The term green cheese, that which we call, is usually applied to hard pressed cheese in the early stage of ripening, before the characteristic flavor, body and texture of ripened cheese are developed. So, it is before the cheese is ripened, whatever you have received, now you will put it for ripening, that is called green cheese, right. So, green cheese is unripened before it is putting into ripening, that is the green cheese, right. Then ripening agents are many. So, mainly bacteria and molds and enzymes including pepsin, they are used, and the system of curing is like that. Say some examples we have given, that temperature between 0 to 4 degree centigrade, that is called cold curing, and if it is warm curing between 10 to 16 degree centigrade. Average temperature is 1.5, average temperature is 12.5. Humidity, generally high humidity 75%, 85%. Duration, here it is for cold curing 3 to 12 months, for warm curing it is up to 2 months. And quality of cheese obtained is normally mild flavor, bacterial defects minimized, and it could be sharp flavor, bacterial defects could be exaggerated because temperature is increased, right. Then changes during curing, what it makes. First is flavor, lot many flavors are developed. From mildly acid taste and aroma, no real cheese flavor in green cheese, to the development of the characteristic flavor of ripened cheese, which is a blend of several odors and tastes such as diacetyl in mild cheese, to traces of odors of butyric and caproic. This is a caproic acid, esters of alcohol, salts of propionic acid and acetic acids in well aged cheese, and pungent odors of compounds of ammonia and sometimes hydrogen sulfide in very old cheese. That is, during curing it is developed in flavor, right. Some body are also developed, texture fairly close to close texture. Chemicals which are used are fermentation of lactose to lactic acid and small amount of acidic propionic acid and carbon dioxide, they are also formed. Proteolysis and slight fat breakdown, proteins are broken down to more soluble fractions of about 25%, ammonia produced by certain molds, and bacteria may have considerable effect on pH. Then pH is generally like this. In the cheddar cheese typically it appears like that in relation to the age. 3 days old pH is 5.05, 7 days old 5.06, 49 days old 5.13, 9 months old 5.32, and 24 months 2-year old 5.58. So, you see from 5 to 0.58 that is increased pH, right. So, the acidity of course is getting decreased, right. The value of pH more means the acidity is becoming less. Then I hope this is perhaps the microbial changes. Okay. All cheese should contain predominantly lactic streptococci during manufacture and early stage of curing. Cheddar cheese are low in moisture and close in textures that sustain a steady change over from streptococci to lactobacilli, some of which contribute to the flavor. Other types are of course present, and the higher the proportion of miscellaneous types, the quicker is the curing and greater the possibility of flavor, right. So, ripening index is percent soluble nitrogen over percent total nitrogen times 100. So, I hope we have crossed the time, and let us say that we have said as much as we can in cheese, right. So, thank you.